Joining me now, Washington Examiner deputy editor of Restoring America, Kaylee McGee White, pardon me. Kaylee, it's great to see you tonight, and thank you so much for joining us. This defeat of Liz Cheney, as Hageman says, she might have been using the seat to, prepare to run for president in 2024. Even without the seat, she might still run in 2024. What do you make of the race, how it shook out, and what her plans may be?
Well, I think we need to be clear about something. Liz Cheney didn't lose because of Donald Trump. Liz Cheney lost because of Liz Cheney, because she made this entire race about things that Wyoming Republicans specifically just don't care about. You would be hard-pressed to find a D.C. Democrat who actually behind closed doors says that they care about the January 6th Capitol riot. So why in the world would she think that it's a good idea to base an entire re-election campaign in the state of Wyoming on January 6th? I mean, when was the last time that you heard her mention some of the policy issues that Republican voters are really concerned about, whether that's inflation or the border crisis or education? I actually can't tell you the last time she said her primary opponent's name out loud. She just talks about Trump constantly, and that's why she lost.
I think you bring up a really important point. She was very vocal during those hearings as well. And obviously, that's something that Trump has commented on, how, he feels that she's not a true Republican. It's possible that her supporters now at this point are saying, especially in the environment that we're in, right? Rising inflation, people are struggling just to get by. The Democrats are passing all this spending. And the concern, of course, is that for the Democrats, there will be a red wave in the midterms. Many people are starting to wake up to what's going on, looking for change, and yet they see their representative is not really representing them.
Absolutely. And it all does boil down to the fact that Liz Cheney was elected to represent a specific group of voters, Wyoming Republicans within her district. And if she is failing to do that, and if she is acting more like an establishment politician based in Northern Virginia than she is a Wyoming Republican, voters are going to take it out on her. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether Donald Trump was opposed to her. All he had to do was point out the fact that she will always hate him more than she loves serving her own constituents, and voters did the rest.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I brought this up in our show last night. So many voters across the country, I've talked to a lot of different people who have said, I didn't want to vote for Donald Trump because he was Donald Trump, based on his character. It was a referendum on his character, so I voted for Joe Biden. And now they're scratching their heads and saying, I'm not really sure that I made the right choice because as the policies are starting to shake out, it's not working for me. So when you go in one direction or the other, just based on, character assassination or that kind of thing, it ends up really sort of backfiring sometimes. And the numbers in this particular primary race indicate that as well. She did not lose by a tiny margin. She lost by a lot.
Yeah, by 36%. I think Harriet Hageman won about 60% or more of the primary vote, and Cheney only got about 22%. That's pretty abysmal, to be completely honest, especially considering that she far outraised Hageman.
Do you think that there's any chance for her to make a rebound? Obviously, she's sort of setting the stage for what's to come, and she's pointing to past cases where people have lost a race and gone on to do bigger and better things. Do you think that she is the type of person that could make a turnaround like that, given her history, given what she's voted for and what she's supported?
Well, I think a lot of that is going to be determined over the next couple of years. I certainly don't think, as of right now, that she has any future in the Republican Party if it continues to move in the direction that it's moving. But, there is always a sort of place in the party for more middle-of-the-road candidates. But as of right now, she's pretty indistinguishable from a Democrat. So I have a hard time seeing her as any sort of leader in the GOP moving forward. However, I doubt that she'll exit politics completely.
Can I ask you quickly about Murkowski in Alaska? Because she is moving forward, and obviously she and Donald Trump have had many exchanges back and forth. They do not see eye to eye, let's just say.
Yeah, but the difference, though, is that Murkowski has been much less public about her criticism of Donald Trump. She has made it clear that she disagrees with him. But unlike Liz Cheney, she has not made her re-election campaign about Donald Trump. She has made it about Alaska and about the policies that she's been supporting, while also making it clear that she's had disagreements with the former president, and she's not shy about those things, but she's also not making it in her entire campaign.
That's actually a great point. There was a soundbite of her today where she was sort of being goaded to call him a name, and she wouldn't take the bait. And she said, this is really about my platform, the people, serving. And I think you're right. Kaylee, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
You as well.